Welcome back to Open Line, talking with Allie Winters, TSU professor, former mental health provider at the Tennessee Prison for Women, about the Safekeeper program. We've talked a lot about how mentally ill people are transferred from county jails to state prisons, put in solitary confinement. But the other aspect of this is juveniles.
Juveniles, yes.
So did you see that?
Yeah, there were juveniles at Tennessee Prison for Women as well. They were, I believe that there's some sort of policy, whether that's a law or whether it's a TDOC policy, where they can't really be housed in the solitary confinement unit. They were typically housed in an adjacent pod, if you will, but they were still surrounded by adult inmates in that pod as well. But they really tried. You know, the teachers tried to provide them with education. Of course, we were, providing them with mental health treatment if that's what they needed, and a lot of people really tried to help them out, understanding that at the end of the day they were placed in solitary confinement and there was nothing anybody could do about it. What
of those situations stands out for you? You don't have to give a name, but is there a situation that just really stood out again for you?
Yeah, I mean, all of these folks, not just the juveniles, but all of these folks struggle so much. But when you've got a juvenile who, has this life that's about to open up to them, and we're placing them in solitary confinement and we're damaging their brain and making it very difficult for them to move forward. When I saw these juveniles, it really hit me hard. Because they have so much potential, and of course, as a therapist, I'm sitting there and I'm talking to them, and of course these are juveniles, and they're talking about stuffed animals and all of this, and it's like this isn't lining up for me, where I'm talking, to this kid, this child, who is stuck in an adult system in solitary confinement, only because, for whatever reason, their local county jail does not have the capacity to house them. And it was very, very sad.
That aspect of this is what's being addressed in the legislature, I guess, with the greatest sense of urgency, right? So
that seems to be generating the most buzz. Yes, is let's make sure that juveniles don't go to adult prison. Let's make sure juveniles go to juvenile detention. If that's where they need to go, if they need to be held, then they need to be held in juvenile detention, which makes sense. I don't know why we do it this way anyway.
And are you satisfied with what you're seeing in the legislature as far as that? I
really like that bill. I like both. I've looked at both of the bills and they seem very similar. I really like, this is what I really like about the bill, and it's just brilliant, that they've set up a 30-day review. So when someone comes into safekeeping, every 30 days they review whether or not this person is ready to come back, and that is just brilliant to me. So it makes sure that people don't get stuck in the system. They also have a provision where the judge will evaluate something having to do with solitary confinement, which I don't really understand the language of that, and I'm not real sure about how that's going to play out. I would really like the Department of Correction to change their policy with regard to safekeepers and find a better solution where they can be in a place where they can mix and mingle amongst themselves, all the safekeepers, and be able to have a normal kind of experience instead of being locked in solitary confinement. I would really like to see the Department of Correction change that policy.
You worked, as we've said, mental health provider, Tennessee Prison for Women. You were there for years. And you said they're often watching a show like this, right?
They could be watching right now. It's digital channel 5.2. I hope that some of the safekeepers at DeBerry and Riverbend, and especially my ladies at TPFW, are watching right now, and knowing that they've got an advocate out here who's working very hard to try to address their issues.
Are you confident that there will be change? How confident are you that you're going to be able to help somebody who's watching there in the Tennessee Prison for Women?
I'm very confident because if this bill goes through, then their cases are going to start being addressed in the courts, you know, and kind of trying to figure out where they need to be and what's going to happen. And I'm looking forward to that. I want people to be able to be in the least restrictive environment, you know, possible, and because that's good for mental health, it's good for health, and I'm excited. Help is on the way, definitely.
All right, that's great. We're going to take a break. We'll be back right after this.